G'day viewers, Tom Leahey from Oxygen Home Loans here. Today I want to talk about first home buyers. One of the biggest questions I get asked all the time, and it's probably on a daily basis, is how to help first home buyers. So let me run through a couple of points. First one's first, a first home buyer. Let's talk about who they are, what they're looking for. So a first home buyer is somebody that hasn't owned property before. Now that could be a young guy, that could be a young girl, it could be a young family who've been renting, living with parents. It could be migrants from overseas who've just moved to Australia, haven't owned property in Australia before. So you've got a real broad spectrum of buyers that become first home buyers in Australia. Now, as a first home buyer here in Australia, first home buyers are eligible for certain government concessions. First and foremost is the thing called the First Homeowners Grant, the FOG otherwise we call it. That at the moment sits in the ACT at $7,000. That incentive is only around until the 1st of July. So for any first home buyer wanting to take advantage of that $7,000, they have until the 30th of June to sign a contract for a purchase to enable them to get that. The second one that goes with the First Homeowners Grant is the stamp duty concession. Now again, these all vary from state to state, so given I'm based in Canberra, I'm going to talk primarily at the moment about the ACT situation. With all of these things, of course there are eligibility criteria. Now, it's not us mortgage brokers, it's not the banks that set the eligibility criteria for this, it's the revenue officers of each of the state governments. The state governments have a website, usually it's revenue.act.gov.au for us, revenue.nsw.gov.au for New South Wales. Those websites contain all the information a first home buyer would need to know about what they're entitled to, what the eligibility requirements are, and they also have calculators that can help you calculate what stamp duty would be payable if you are not eligible for a stamp duty concession, or again, depending on the purchase price of the property, whether you qualify for a concession as opposed to, say, the exemption. So, as of the 1st of July, here in the ACT, the $7,000 FOG is going to be removed. In its place, the government is going to give an exemption on stamp duty to all purchases. Now you might sit there and say, well, how does that differ to the current system? Well, the current system only applies to purchasers that have been buying brand new properties. So if you went and bought an established townhouse or an established apartment or an established house, you weren't eligible for any of the government incentives. They only applied if you bought new. So under the new scheme that will come into play on the 1st of July, they will then be eligible to buy an established property wherever they choose. They won't get the $7,000, but you will get a discount or an exemption on the stamp duty. Finer details haven't been provided by the ACT government as yet. I assume they will be done closer to the 1st of July date.